What's good, everybody? Masculine Pose here. Welcome to the channel. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Get the word out. Share the love. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, the chaotic male sexual urge. The chaotic male sexual urge is often his undoing. Okay, so what am I talking about? Men, when you pass all the tests of being emotional boys, you pass being in school, you pass being reactive, and you kind of got your direction, your sense of purpose, and you know where you're going. That's the purpose of the man, actually. When the man is past all of that nonsense, when he's like, no, he did it. No, he did it. No, he's like, that's where I'm going, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. That's where your strength lies, and that's where the feminine does not do so well because she's up and down. As female energy is that somewhat chaotic. Okay, we know that most females have a little bit of chaos going on in them. That's why the male brings the balance. But the chaos in a man is sexual desire, sexual urge, because a man can be a president, he could be a king, he could be a nobleman, whatever he is whatever title he has, he holds in society, no matter how high ranking that is. When he has his sexual urges, he can be chaotic. He'll do impulsive things. So the chaotic sexual urges will cause him to waver out of his purpose. And somebody who's higher up, the powers that be, understand that. And that's why wherever we see, whether it's the sale of toothpaste, it's sexual. Whether it's the sale of a car, it's sexual. Whether it's the festivities, little Santa Claus outfits, girls be doing that. So if you lived in a modest society where everybody dressed modestly, so you're not always on sexually in your imagination without this plethora of pouring, you'd function very differently because your control levels would be very different. See, because when you have to constantly deal, even fashion, the girls that wearing this, I don't know what you call them, this back pants with like gathering on the bottom, and you can see practically all the details of everything from the front to the back. So that's getting you to be sexually on at all times. So the more you are on that, the less you are active in your own logical, non-distracted, um, I suppose, masculine energy. So if a man is devoid of the sexual chaos that translates in his life, that's everywhere, he's gonna be way more focused. It's gonna be about his purpose. It's gonna be about his productivity. Because no man wants to be a loser. No man wants to enter this adulthood and come out with nothing. Generally, for the most part, most men, they're not caught up in, oh, let me just see how little as I can get by. You know, most men want to impress, especially to the female counterpart. Most men want to outdo, they want to compete. That's the way male in sports. That's why we love sports. And most males want to prove to themselves that they can. So the this idea of lazy men doing nothing is because someone is injecting this over sexualization of females. Females take the bait in the name of empowerment. They be twerking and they say I do it for myself. They be wearing all these extreme things that are extremely provocative, and that makes the male um, debase himself into his primitive state where he's always just really on. He's just horny and be like, whatever. And he has to suppress that somewhat and still perform in spite of the fact of the external stimuli. But that's the chaotic energy there, right there. So when you start to, that's why women are not doing a service to men by being overly sexual, because now they'll be perceived as something just to poke on, you know. So a woman that wants to be valuable in a man's eyes, has to demonstrate that she can contain that power, the sexual power, and then project something else other than. Now we have a whole bunch of women that have not developed any sense of anything character wise. For the most part, there are certain few, you know, far in between, like really, that are able to say, even if my sexuality aside, I'm still a human being. But a lot, since they've been given the opportunity to just be presently beautiful without having to cultivate anything, it was easier for all of them. Just like certain businesses and industries, not everybody can get into it because the capital is too great, it's too big. When something is too easy, everybody does it. That's why you see that the majority of females inherently are lazy because they want to do what's easy. If a woman has to work versus prostitute herself on OnlyFans, she'd rather prostitute herself on OnlyFans because it's a lot easier. So the woman as a tool becomes this marketing ploy, marketing tool, also advertisement tool. That's why everything is sexual because the man is then in his chaotic energy. As you know, man, we keep, when man wants something in the sexual sense, they'll do whatever. And sometimes it's dangerous, when men, like when they're deprived of that. But that's a chaotic sexual urge. Okay. So when a man contains that from a woman, when you can look at a woman dead in the eyes and see all her sexual desire, like all her sexual desirability, and then abstain, that man is just too powerful. Because then he's not being manipulated by his, her external stimuli for him. Like she is a stimuli and he's a recipient. Okay, he is receiving the signals, when she's doing the things. But whenever he's no longer moved by those things, then he's about his purpose. That's why I did a video called No Sex. That's when he can move in his purpose because then he can contain. He can see. I see what I see, but I'm still gonna keep walking. I see. I know what you're doing. You said some sweet things. You said some nasty things, but I'm gonna keep on my purpose. But a lot of men do not have that discipline, so that chaotic sexual energy works against them. So it's chaotic because it allows you to be away from your masculinity. The female is operating that sexual. That's why leadership in women is actually very difficult because she wants to be validated. She wants to be desired. Men just get up and do the job, but women want to be. Do you like my dress? Do you like my outfit? And what do you think of my performance? That social validation, she requires that. So, and that's why, pastors or female, you know, um, it's just one of those things that it does not go too well, put it that way. So that the sexual urge moves the man away from his masculinity because he's not in a chaotic state. And then she kind of toys with him and everything else. That creates the chaos. That's why most men are like subscribing to OnlyFans because it's an alternative to get that sexual access, porn, and now they're getting overstimulated at all times without the means to abstain because they're being told, thanks to the music, you gotta get your girl, you gotta get yours. I'm gonna do this to you. I'm gonna do that to you. We're not supposed to be that proactive in a sexual realm. We're not supposed to be that proactive, but they've developed a sexual energy all around you in the music, in the film, and the advertisement, so that you're in a chaotic state as a male and you cannot move without seeing something sexual. And the females are taught that you're nobody unless you're sexually desirable. So the females are operating in that primitive stage. Only the few that are wise and have the discernment can say, hey, I'm more than that. Because to be honest, most females, they've just made themselves about the sexual desirability. So the point is that for the males, the power lies in abstaining from that chaotic energy. That energy has its uh, purpose. You can have that, but it shouldn't be the way they've made it to be. So you're constantly stimulated. We're constantly stimulated where you cannot go anywhere from the design of fashion houses, design things, see through things. Everything about the whole world is that to get the males to be out of order. When the male's out of order, Females easily get them out of order because they get enticed thinking you can be like a man, and they're like, oh yeah, I can be like a man. You can just be anything you can do, anything a man can do, you can do. It's a delusion, man. Most men know that. There's tons of jobs I can name where a female cannot participate, not because she's incapable of, but it's just not in them for them to desire those things. A man can easily do that. But the point is that their sexual urges is a negative energy for the man because yes, we have desire to have sex as men, but somebody's overstimulated the male, so he's at overdoing it. Kind of like driving the car and revving it really high all the time. So it's like revving on red. At some point, the motor burns out, and the sense of the car, its longevity and its worth becomes useless. So it's very important for you to be aware that the sexual urge energy can be chaotic. And it's like you operating in your chaos when you constantly go into the strippers, when you constantly need to look up porn, when you constantly need to be Instagram models and liking them. You're constantly being sexually stimulated for no good purpose. Okay? Let me not carry on. I know I could say many, many things, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Peace, love, and blessings.